From the moment Johnny Carson stepped onto the Tonight Show stage, the world knew anything could happen. A television icon, he turned live broadcasts into spectacles of laughter, suspense, and sometimes chaos. Few moments captured this better than when a seemingly harmless monkey, Mo, climbed onto Carson's head and urinated straight down his suit. The studio erupted, Ed McMahon banged the desk, and Carson, gripping a tissue, tried to maintain composure, muttering afterward that he couldn't chat with an animal that had peed on him. Yet, if a tiny primate could rattle the king of late night, imagine the shock when he faced a full-grown jaguar. Flown in from the San Diego Zoo, the predator lunged at its cage, claws sparking against steel, as Carson fell backward, forcing a strained joke while his hands shook. The footage became a legend, replayed endlessly despite his protests. Not all chaos came from animals. Don Rickles once broke Carson's cherished wooden box, a gift from a loyal NBC technician, during a guest host stint. The next night, Carson confronted Rickles on set, turning Hollywood's insult king into the punchline and leaving the audience in awe. Pop icon Madonna took it further, climbing atop Carson's desk, fanning herself with his question cards, and transforming the show into a provocative stage. Even a baby elephant brought disaster, panicking and creating a brown waterfall across the stage. Through each surreal moment, Carson maintained his trademark wit, remarking on the absurdity while the audience gasped, laughed, and cheered. Then there were the human confrontations. Farrah Fawcett drifted through the show in a delirious haze. Chevy Chase's arrogance nearly broke Carson's composure, and Wayne Newton's direct threats forced him to retreat for the first time in decades. These moments weren't scripted. They were battles of personality, timing, and control. Carson's Tonight Show wasn't just entertainment. It was a stage where chaos and mastery collided, proving why he was more than a host. Johnny Carson's ability to command The Tonight Show went beyond animals and pranks. It extended to handling the boldest celebrities. Raymond Burr, beloved for Perry Mason, endured years of Carson's barbed jokes about his weight, finally appearing one last time in 1976. Burr's silent departure after the cameras stopped left a deeper mark than any verbal clash, proving that Johnny's humor could wound as much as entertain. But perhaps the ultimate betrayal came from Joan Rivers, once treated like a daughter and launched to fame by Carson himself. In 1986, she secretly signed with Fox to host her own late-night show in direct competition. The news shattered Carson. He hung up coldly and ordered NBC to erase her name from all mentions for 26 years. The industry was stunned, witnessing the raw intersection of trust, power, and heartbreak behind the camera. Carson's fury wasn't limited to betrayals. When the New York Times accused him of earning $25 million a year, making him a symbol of greed during America's economic crisis, he confronted the audience live, waving the paper and declaring the claims slanderous. Millions saw the man behind the mask of humor, prideful, dignified, and unafraid to challenge a national newspaper. Yet, sometimes guests struck back. Author Jacqueline Suzanne threw a cocktail in his face at a Beverly Hilton afterparty, proving that The Tonight Show could incite both laughter and literal retaliation. Bette Midler later dripped water on him live on air after a verbal jab, an unforgettable shock that became classic blooper material. Through each confrontation, Johnny maintained a balance of professionalism and vulnerability. He faced animals, audacious stars, and even psychic frauds like Uri Geller, unmasking trickery live on television. The Tonight Show became a battleground of wits, a theater where Carson's calm demeanor hid fierce intelligence and a razor-sharp sense of timing. His legacy wasn't just comedy. It was control, chaos, and the power of presence, moments that shaped television history and left audiences both laughing and gasping for more. Johnny Carson's mastery of live television wasn't just about reacting to chaos. It was about commanding respect, even when challenged by some of Hollywood's boldest personalities. Chevy Chase, fresh off Saturday Night Live, tested that authority in 1978, cutting off Carson, boasting about fame, and even slapping him on the shoulder. The studio froze, tension crackling in the air. Carson's response was cold and calculated, a warning so firm it ended Chase's access to The Tonight Show permanently. This was a clear rule in Carson's kingdom. Fame alone could not breach his stage. Wayne Newton, Las Vegas royalty pushed even further. In 1980, he stormed NBC unannounced, slamming the desk and threatening Carson over jokes. For the first time, the king of late night backed down, leaving Newton off the monologues, a rare retreat in Carson's decades-long reign. In contrast, Raymond Burr's silent resistance after enduring Carson's jokes about weight demonstrated that quiet defiance could leave a deeper sting than confrontation. Then there was Joan Rivers, whose betrayal by signing with Fox shattered a two-decade mentor-protege relationship. Carson's cold response, erasing her name from mentions for 26 years, showed the gravity of personal trust in Hollywood's high-stakes environment. Carson also faced public humiliation from celebrities who fought back live. Jacqueline Suzanne threw a cocktail at him after a sharp on-air joke, while Bette Midler drenched him with water on live television. Each incident, though shocking, highlighted Carson's remarkable poise. He managed to maintain control, recover humor, and continue the show. Even moments with Farrah Fawcett, whose eccentric behavior threatened to unbalance the broadcast, and Madonna, who transformed his desk into her stage, proved Carson's skill in navigating unpredictability with wit and composure. Beyond individual confrontations, Carson's Tonight Show was a theater of skill, where animals, celebrities, and even psychic frauds were tested under the glare of live television. The king of late night wasn't merely a comedian. He was a tactician, a performer, and a guardian of his craft, blending humor, suspense, and authority in ways that defined American television. Johnny Carson's career was a masterclass in balancing humor, authority, and chaos on live television. The Tonight Show wasn't merely entertainment. It was a proving ground where his wit and presence dictated the flow, whether facing animals, audacious stars, or public scrutiny. Farrah Fawcett's bizarre, floaty behavior in 1991 left Carson struggling to maintain composure, muttering about the strange non-sequiturs and awkward touches on live TV. The audience was bewildered. The headline screamed, "Car Crash TV," and even the king of late night was forced to endure uncertainty. Yet, he managed to navigate the chaos, ending the interview gracefully despite visible irritation. Chevy Chase's arrogance, Wayne Newton's threats, and Raymond Burr's quiet resentment all tested Carson's limits differently. Chase's shoulder slap triggered an immediate, permanent blacklist. Newton's intimidation forced a rare retreat from jokes. Burr's silent protest demonstrated that humor could wound even without confrontation. Joan Rivers' betrayal, signing with Fox without informing her mentor, shattered personal trust and created a decades-long silence, demonstrating that television fame was never separate from human relationships and emotional stakes. Each instance left audiences riveted, illustrating Carson's dual mastery of control and vulnerability. Public clashes added another layer to Carson's legacy. The New York Times accused him of greed, igniting a furious live-on-air rebuttal, while Jacqueline Suzanne and Bette Midler retaliated with drinks thrown in his face, shocking viewers and creating iconic television moments replayed for decades. Even Madonna turned the show into her provocative stage, crossing boundaries while Carson maintained his cool and wit, ensuring the show remained compelling despite the chaos. Carson's Tonight Show demonstrated that unpredictability was part of the art. Animals, celebrities, and even psychics like Uri Geller were confronted with strategy, timing, and skill. The audience witnessed a host who could absorb shocks, maintain authority, and command attention, proving that Johnny Carson's genius wasn't merely in humor. It was in mastering the art of live performance, a delicate balance of tension, and control. Johnny Carson's farewell on May 22, 1992, captured the essence of his extraordinary career. The Tonight Show's final episode was a national event, drawing over 50 million viewers. The studio brimmed with legends, a full orchestra, and the promise of sentimentality. Yet, true to form, Carson ended not with soft music and applause alone, but with intensity, confrontation, and unfiltered emotion. A young rising comedian challenged his legacy, claiming the audience demanded boldness over gentle humor. Carson's response was immediate and forceful, slamming the desk, eyes blazing, declaring that the past he built had shaped the future, asserting his enduring authority. The crowd erupted in divided reaction, cheers, boos, and stunned silence. capturing the tension and drama that had defined his decades on air. This final confrontation echoed Carson's long career of handling unexpected, sometimes humiliating, moments with grace and authority. From Imo the monkey peeing on his head to a jaguar's near attack, and Madonna turning his desk into a teasing stage, Carson mastered chaos while maintaining dignity. He faced public humiliation from Jacqueline Suzanne's cocktail and Bette Midler's water toss, and personal betrayal from Joan Rivers, all while keeping the show compelling, unpredictable, and captivating. Even psychic frauds like Uri Geller were unmasked, proving that The Tonight Show was as much about intellect, control, and integrity as it was about laughter. Carson's career also carried profound personal loss and family strain, from explosive fights with his son Rick to decades-long emotional wounds after tragic events. These experiences revealed the human side behind the television icon, adding depth to his public persona. Ultimately, Johnny Carson's legacy transcends comedy. He was a tactician of live television, a guardian of his stage, and a symbol of unpredictability and excellence. Every animal mishap, celebrity confrontation, and unexpected twist became a testament to his skill. He didn't merely entertain. He commanded, challenged, and defined what it meant to be the king of late night. His story remains an unparalleled chronicle of humor, tension, and human drama.